What's going on, everybody? It's Nico, and I'm bringing you another, what's this called again? Spectator analysis thing. Why is Loki's death counter counting down when he's still dead and it's paused? Weird. Anyway, this is Spectator analysis. This is a game that was a little weird. And on top of that, what else? It's 20 minutes into the game. This game goes on for like 34 minutes, so there's 14 minutes of in-game stuff that you can still see. And I get to talk about other stuff. You guys know this. The only reason this game is even available at all to show is because Tyler, you know Tyler, he's in my videos. He started spectating it because we were playing. And okay, setup. I'm playing middle lane as Agni, currently 6-0-6. I don't play Agni a lot. I was actually doing really well, which is weird. We have a jungle Loki, whose build is fine. He's got Bumbas, Warrior Tabi, Jotuns, and he's going into Hydra's Lament, getting all that CDR so he can ult people as much as he can. We had a Guan Yu solo lane that started throwing dagger and actually built it into Golden Bow. That's not something I would do on any character ever because I feel like the only person that benefits from Golden Bow or throwing dagger is Mercury, because the movement speed, the crit, and the physical power are all really good on Mercury, because with movement speed he gains physical power. So it's more physical power than Golden Bow actually has. That made you look, if you can catch multiple people in it still, which isn't impossible. It's not as big, it's harder, but it's still possible to catch multiple people in it. Hurts like hell. Guan Yu doesn't really do that. Warrior Tabi's fine. Hide of the Urchin's fine. But he's building an attack speed, weird, like, auto-attack build for Guan Yu. I don't like it. Trent is playing Cabrakan, who is not doing well, unfortunately. At 20 minutes, he only has Watcher's Gift, Midas Boots, Sovereignty, but he does have Hand 3 and Shell 2, not Shell 3, whatever. He's actually not far behind the enemy tank for, like to be fair, so that's not that bad. And then Loki's playing Artemis, and he's got, you know, this is a standard build for an ADC so far. Unfortunately, he's died 6 times. You've seen his death timer right there, so that means he just died. Guan Yu also just died. And then we're up against the Ymir, who's 2-2-7, a Loki on the enemy team, who's doesn't have as many kills, but he also hasn't died as much as our Loki. But he went Heartseeker instead of, you know, this Loki's build. A Thanatos, because the Loki was a solo laner, who is the jungle on the enemy team, who went full CDR with Ninja Tabi, which I don't like anymore. I used to like that build. I don't do it anymore. I do Warrior Tabi into Jotuns, into Magi's Blessing, into like Titan's Bane and other stuff. But that's a personal thing. And he's going into Lifesteal, so he's in the fight more, because he also has Executioner, which a build for Thanatos is to build crit, so you're actually relevant in fights. And so I get it, but I don't necessarily like that build. And then Nuaz, who I was up against, who rushed Book of Thoth, got CDR boots, and then Obsidian Shard to make up for the fact she had no penetration. I mean, there's not anybody with magical defense, so the Obsidian Shard actually isn't giving her a lot of penetration. She would have gained more penetration from just flat pen items like Spear, even if she can't stack up the passive, or Legionary Celestial Legion Helm, I think it is. Which has 15 flat pen on it. Like she would probably getting more pen out of that, because like how do I change this? Because this is new. If I click Trent, okay. Like we see Trent, he has 101 magical protection. We click me, I have 30 magical protection. Also, let's play real quick. Okay, you can actually see me now. I have 30 magical protection. 33% of 30 is 10. She would actually have more penetration if she had built something with flat penetration. Like, there's no reason she should have an Obsidian Shard to go up against Loki, who has 44, or like Artemis, who has 44 magical protections, whereas Cabrakan and Guan Yu both have more protection because they've built tankier items. That, and it looks like Trent's been hit recently, so his protections from his 2 have stacked up, because there's no way in hell he has 188 physical protections off Sovereignty alone. So yeah, his 2 is getting stacked up right there, the passive from it. And then we have an Ul who built Transcendence, which I like, but then he built Boots into Executioner, which I don't like. If I was playing Uller and I had built Transcendence first, my third item wouldn't have been Aussie, because you need Lifesteal. Like, you do need Lifesteal to be able to box people, but this Ul doesn't give a shit, because him and the Ymir are bullying the shit out of Artemis, who is Loki, so he doesn't need to fight for an extended amount of time, but it bites him in the ass later when he doesn't have lifesteal. Alright, so let's start. Our positioning is that such. Loki just died, I'm assuming, seeing how Ul is extremely low health, and so is Ymir. I think I came over here to save them. That just makes sense in my mind. Their enemy Loki's pushing my tower. Both Nuwa and Thanatos are coming from right lane, which suggests that they killed Guan Yu. I think I actually remember this part. Guan Yu says, "Why didn't you rotate mid? Like, mid, why are you in right lane?" And I was like, because they're getting outpushed and killed, and I'm trying to gank to help them. And then he's like, "Why are you doing that?" It's like, that's the jungle's job. One, that's not true. The jungler is not the only one who should be helping the other lanes. Middle, like, the mid laner is also responsible for trying to help duo lane and solo lane at any point in time. You're in the middle of the map. You can easily rotate to both sides. Either side doesn't matter. That's the point of a mid laner, to try to get as much gold as possible from the mid camps, and as well as solo XP from the minions that come down the lane, and to quickly be able to rotate to fights that are happening in either side of the lanes. That's the whole point of the mid lane. Solo lanes is to be able to be isolated to gain a lot of XP really quickly, like a lot of XP and gold, and then rotate to mid-camp fights and fights that happen on the Fire Giant side. And then the reason duo lane is to make sure to be able to rotate to Gold Fury at any given point in time really quickly. Middle is supposed to be able to rotate it anywhere at any time. Alright, so let's go over here and see what happens. I think we're disengaging. I'm not sure, though. Trent looks like he's running around, probably going to place down his ward or just do the mid-camps if they're still up. Loki took our tower. Yeah, the mid-camps are up. He looked at it, then looked away. Not Kabrakan. For whatever reason, Thanatos is going on our tank, which is strange. I understand it. I mean, he killed him, but you usually don't see that. If I hadn't backed, we probably would have killed Thanatos extremely easily. I just didn't recognize the fact that Thanatos was going to ult our fucking tank. So, that sucked. Here, at this point, I know for a fact I told Loki is like, you only have beads 2 up against Uller Ymir. You need beads 3 way before you even finished any of your items. Shitty thing is, I know for a fact he doesn't build beads 3 even after I tell him that, because at one point I look, he gets another balanced blade and still doesn't have beads 3. Sometimes you tell people stuff that would help them live and they just don't pay attention. Here I'm running away from the Uller Ymir because I'm like, hey, I don't feel like dying today. Also, what's this called? He's going on Nuwa. I dash through. I don't know if I recognize Nuwa. I don't recognize Nuwa, but Loki does. We're trying to kill the Ymir, so Loki gets out safe and sound. My auto attack kills him. Their Loki comes out of nowhere. I try to stop it. Can't. Thanatos looks like he's going for me, goes down on our tank. I put down the stun, but I wasn't able to follow it up with anything fast enough because my bombs were down from the previous engagement, I'm assuming. Now they're going on Guan Yu, and Guan Yu goes in. Unfortunately, Guan doesn't actually right-click cancel his ultimate, which would have made it to where he could have done that and stunned him out, but instead he didn't. Loki goes in on this Loki, which wasn't a good idea because there's a 5 level differential, but we recognize it and come back, and I throw a bomb on his face and he dies. I wouldn't recommend fighting someone that's 5 levels higher than you unless you have your teammates there and they recognize it. Just saying. So we do that, we get the red buff, I go mid. Loki goes to push, which without any wards on this side, not a very good idea. He's an extremely easy to gank target because Artemis has no escapes other than her ultimate, and his beads are down and they're only level 2. So, not exactly a good idea for him to be pushing up by himself. As we can see, Uller comes out of nowhere, tries to kill him, doesn't happen because he misses. I back to buy level 2 Spear of the Magus because I wanted Pen. But I saw that they didn't have any hardcore magical defense, so I was getting something with Flat Pen instead of Obsidian Shard. Makes sense in my head. They're grouping up to do the Gold Fury, which they've gotten every single game. Not every single game. Every time it spawned. They're trying to disengage, but Loki gets caught. He dies. Not with his ultimate this time, thankfully. Which I told him to fucking use, finally. He still dies, and he's like, oh, I used my ultimate, still died. I was like, yeah, sometimes you're not going to avoid death. But the fact that you had your ultimate there was bad enough. Like, and sometimes wouldn't use it is bad. We get 1 kill, but I think we get decided for the most part. Yeah, we do. They get a free Gold Fury off of that. I'm fairly certain he does not live, this Guan Yu. Like, at this point, he was going to die anyway, especially if this Loki had his ultimate. I don't know why he turned around and fought. Never mind. There was no reason for Guan Yu to fight that. He could have got out had he just ran away. That was really dumb of him. But yeah, we get decided. They get a free Gold Fury. Loki gets pissed at me for being like, oh, I still used my ultimate and died. And I'm like, it's better than dying with your ultimate and instead of, you know, trying to live. Like, sometimes you just have to use your ultimate. Like, even if you think you're going to die, is it near the end of the game? That means you're going to have your ultimate back by the time you respawn. Use it before you die. It just makes sense. Like, if you're Poseidon and you don't Kraken before you die and, like, there are a bunch of people grouped up on you, that's really bad and you shouldn't do that. Like, you have to, like, Kraken the people if they're on top of you. Like, there's certain characters that using your ultimate before you die is a good idea. That's one of, like, Artemis, Poseidon, there are not a lot of characters, but there are a few that it just makes sense. So we clear up mid lane to make sure they don't push that out. Nual stole that small camp. Loki's out pushing the solo lane. Artemis is trying to do her best to push out duo lane, but Artemis sucks balls in my opinion now. And I really think you shouldn't play her because her 3 is garbage and she has no like lane presence. He gets aggressive, which I wouldn't recommend by himself, but thankfully Trent saw that he was, so he came to help him. Though Trent's died 3 more times since we started this. In 5 minutes, that's not good. They're coming back to try to fight. He gets a double stun. Loki beads, but he wasn't able to get out of there soon enough. Like, he didn't do it fast enough. I also blame the fact that he's on EU ping. He might not have been able... Like, he might have done it sooner, but it didn't actually go off. We go on the tank just because I have enough damage to kill him, but we get walled. In this instance, let's watch this. No, Thanatos is fighting our Loki and our Guan Yu. Whoa. Loki should not have fought that. Like, that was not smart of him. But they do end up getting a kill in return. Nuwa misses. Guan Yu is running away to clear the solo lane out. Kabrakan is pushing middle, which there's not much else he can do other than back by wards or push at lanes and try to get XP and gold. If I were him, like, I'm pretty sure I tell Trent, we need to ward right side of the map bad. Like, we need wards on Fire Giant and stuff. Because we have very little coverage, just here and here. Guan Yu most likely dies because, you know, Ul and Nuwa, and he doesn't have that much movement. I'm running around mid, warding up near our lane, just so anyone tries to get aggressive and, you know, come after us. I have another ward. I don't know if I place it. I know they're going near the Fire Giant because they're not on the map, so I was like, they have to be going for Fire Giant. And in this instance, we see them doing it, and I'm just like, oh, here, have some fucking bombs. They both die to the Fire Giant. Trent goes in, hands it, and we get it. I'm so glad I was like, hey, they're probably going to do Fire Giant because we're not on the map. Like, I don't see them on the map, and we don't have it covered. Let's go over there. We get 2 kills, steal it, and now they don't have it, which is great because we're down by XP a lot. Loki wastes Vanish and Aim Strike on Kabrakan, which is fine. Does a decent amount of damage, but, you know, shit happens. They get a mid camp, which, I mean, we're down by 8k gold. Like, we've lost every gold Fury, and we just got the Fire Giant. The Fire Giant kind of makes up for that, but at the same time, we're still down by a lot. So we're trying to come back. It sucks that we're losing mid camps, but we do get this one. Ymir gets aggressive, and I'm like, what are you gonna do? Wow, I actually hit that stun. That did not look like it would hit. But yeah, I'm not afraid of Ymir. I'm level 15. I have full beads and level 2 Aegis. I know, like, it's like, I'm Agni. Like, I'm not afraid of you. So we do that. Loki gets a tower with the help of Loki. Ymir and Uller are coming over here, which, I mean, wouldn't be bad. Oh, he did finish his beads, and he has level 1 sprint. Okay. I know for a fact he got the balance bait before he finished his beads, which is 1250 gold, which means he could have had finished beads and full sprint, but instead, whatever. I'm not going to nitpick that much. There's no reason to be that much of a, bitch about it that much. I just take the freeze because no one else is around. The boar wasted because the wall's in the way, but whatever. And the Loki ultimate was wasted. I don't know why, they both used ultimates on the tank. He was pretty much dead as soon as he started casting his ultimate. That really sucked. That's going to hurt us. Even if Loki's ultimate is on a very short cooldown because he has full CDR, there was no point in wasting it on him. I see that we're going on Nuwa. I have the dot on her from Path of Flames. I knew she was going to die. I've done that a couple times. I go to try to save Loki because I see he's in trouble. I hit the bomb on the Loki, and then he dies anyway, unfortunately, because there's only one person with him. We kill the Loki that was about to kill him. Trent's sitting there doing his thing, ground pounding. We come to help. I'm pretty sure we get both of them. Oh no, what happened was I got silenced out before I could do Flame Wave. But Loki's ultimate comes up fast enough to kill the Ul. Then he starts fighting the Ymir because he doesn't have any damage. I sit on top of this ultimate in Aegis so I don't take any damage. And there's no one else alive to, threaten me. And then I help kill the Ymir because I have so much pen and everything. Also, that's Dry Bear because I got the fucking... I got Dry Bear's voice pack on right now. We take 2 Phoenixes and we've come back. We're not 8k gold behind or whatever we were. We're now ahead by 100, or not even 100 gold. Now we're behind. I don't know how that happened. We were kind of ahead, and now we're kind of behind. Nuwa kills Loki because he doesn't have Aegis, because he can't have both beads in Aegis, because he's a jungler and he has Hand of the Gods. Which, if you're going up against Nuwa, the only way you're going to live is if you have Aegis. They go in on the Nuwa. I don't know if they get anything out of this. Holy fucking hell. Never mind. Kabrakan's damage is real. I forgot. And Guan Yu's actually got pretty decent auto attack damage, which is strange to say, but it is true. They're going to try to take this tower. I don't know if they have enough damage to do it between the two of them, because Guan Yu has only penetration on Warrior Tabi, which is not a lot to take out towers, and that's it. Loki is taking Gold Fury by himself, which is not a bad call. Thankfully, they don't have wards on it, and they don't see that this is happening at all. By the time they do recognize that it happens, it's too late, which is great for us, because that's a bunch of gold we needed, because we are not 6-slotted yet. I buy Spell Focus going into Obsidian Shard because I want more pen and damage, because I couldn't think of anything else to buy. Could have bought a defensive item, but I was ahead enough and positioning myself, I thought, good enough to where I didn't need a defensive item. We're running around trying to get this Loki because he was a piece of shit. I don't know if we are going to. Well, he blinked out. Oh, the enemy Titan's under attack, but it's telling us mine is because blue team. Oh, does he hit it? Damn, he actually does. Is it enough? Is it enough? It is enough. Damn, that Loki got outplayed. Also, I think the enemy Loki has blink. I can't see. Because it's combat blink and beads, if I'm not mistaken. So, not sure why he has that, but, you know, whatever. I see the Ymir. Trent sees the Ymir. We go on the Ymir because if they don't have hand 3, that's a free fire giant. So we kill Ymir. Loki sees Nuwa, fucks her the ever-living hell up, and then we do fire giant while Artemis and Guan Yu push. Because if they don't get this Phoenix or they die or something, we'll at least have fire giant, and then we can push uncontested because the fire giant buff is amazing. But they surrender and we win, and I thought we were going to lose, and it was awesome. I don't know how I did so well on Agni because I don't play a lot of Agni. In fact, I feel like my positioning is fairly poor with Agni because I'm not used to playing him. But thankfully enough, I played a really good Agni, I guess. Cool explosions. Let's check out builds. Like I said, don't like this Guan Yu's build at all. it doesn't make sense that you would build Guan Yu for an auto attack style kind of build. His ability damage on Talu Assault is insane, and Warrior's Will is actually amazing as well. And his ultimate scales really hard because it's multiple hits, and it scales with his physical power. It doesn't make sense to me. The build that I've seen work best and everybody's pretty much used since Guan Yu has been a thing is be really tanky with like Jotuns and Warrior Tabi and rip through people with Talu Assault. And that's it. Which seems to work really well because I have a Guan Yu game where I did that and it works really well. Loki. I don't hate this build, but I don't necessarily like it either because he has no penetration other than Jotuns and Warrior Tabi. So if he were to go on anyone other than... Well, actually, since barely anybody built any physical defense, it's not that bad. But they do have, you gain, natural physical protection is a lot higher than natural magical protection. So to have a Titan's Bane here might have been better. I don't know if that's what he's going to build next, but hopefully, because he needed pen. My build, kind of your standard glass cannon mage sit in the back and fuck people up build. My bombs were hitting very hard at the end of the game, and I kind of just stood in the back and destroyed people. Trent's build, fairly standard tank stuff. He bought a Void Stone because he wanted some power and some defense at the end there, which, not a bad pickup. You should at least have one Void Stone on your team. Somebody should have it if you have multiple mages, because it makes it to where your other mages are doing more damage if you can stay in the fight. Cabrakan is a great character to have Void Stone on because he's always in the thick of it. Artemis. Lucky's build is a little weird just because nobody builds Chinsas anymore. It's more these 3 items rush crit. So, especially since Chinsas is so expensive, he actually probably could have got a Deathbringer. So, I don't know. Not terrible, not the greatest. Has a lot of attack speed, if you think about it, with her steroid. Though, I don't know if he was able to stick in fights. I don't know. He needed this done sooner and this done sooner. He needed to be able to survive, so I don't like the Chin size pickup. I wish he would have built his active items sooner so he wouldn't have died as many times. Nuwa, nothing crazy except for the Polynomicon, which is a terrible item, and you really shouldn't build it on any character, even if you have 700 magical power. It's only additional 350, and that's if they aren't mitigating it. Polynomicon is generally regarded as a crappy item nowadays. She would have been better off with a Bancroft's Talon for the extra magical power for her ultimate, so she could hurt people while she's up in the sky better. And yeah, that's what I would say. Build Bancroft's Talon instead. Also, don't know why she only has Sprint. She should have had beads way before Sprint, because we have stun, 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 stun. We actually have an extremely heavy CC team. He has 2 stuns and a wall, so she would have to ult out of the wall's way. We have a stun on top of a high amount of burst damage. Same with Loki. We have a slow, a stun, or a slow on Warrior's Will, and a slow on his cavalry charge into a stun. And then we have a root cripple on the traps, or at least I think they cripple, I'm not sure if I'm not mistaken, and also a stun with the boar. She should have had beads way early. Ymir, Blink, all that good stuff. He built Breastplate of Valor, which I guess he wanted CDR, not that crazy. Loki, he went full crit, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Most of the time you only want to build Deathbringer, because on the off chance that backstab you do does crit, and then it's a huge number, you don't really want the rage because it doesn't give you that much power. Loki, a traditional Loki build that I've seen is lots of physical power and penetration, so that way anytime you go on anyone, you just destroy them and you do true damage. So that's what I would have liked to see on both of these Lokis. Lots of pen and lots of damage. Instead of a rage, I would have liked a shifter shield, which gives you 60 physical power, and, instead of the 30. Thanatos. Don't like this build. You guys know the Thanatos build I like. You've seen Thanatos videos from me. Ooh. He built Bloodforge pretty late, because at some point he sold the Death Toll and bought it. I don't like Bloodforge that much. I feel like since he was lacking... his attack speed... How much attack speed does he have? 1.5? Yeah, he probably would have been better off with an Aussie just so he could attack faster as well as having lifesteal. But, I mean, you can't really argue with someone who goes 10, 5, and 6. Though the Bloodforge pickup was extremely late. And, I don't know. I feel like the Aussie would have helped him more if he was, you know, not as far as ahead as he was. Other than that, I can't really say anything else about this. We can look at player damages and everything here. I did the most in the game, 45,000, because Agni bombs hit really hard, and if you hit multiple people, that's a lot of damage. And yeah, I don't have much else to say about this game. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next game, and I hope you have a great day. Peace out.